Hello, we would like to present to you partial results of work in progress of our research group. The paper aimed to evaluate the performance management system of a public university regarding its technology transfer process. Technology transfer between nations has comprised the focus of discussions for some decades to promote technological progress in developing countries. To enable actual technological development, however, countries must develop a sophisticated national innovation system, engaging companies, industry associations, universities, and society as active agents. This system must comply with qualified researchers, research supporting systems that stimulate both basic and applied research, and national culture and structures to support interaction between research institutions and companies, enabling technological knowledge conversion into processes, products, and services. Hence, the focus of technological development is gradually relocated from the state to companies and their interactions. In this context, technology transfer from universities is considered one of the main mechanisms for regional development, especially in countries in which existing companies do not have nor invest in local research centers. Practical actions such as regulations and legislation may be observed in several countries. Several publications mention the Bayh-Dole Act, including those published outside the USA, by its inspiring and historical relevance. So, Bayh-Dole-like acts are one mechanism for university-industry interaction. The discussion related to technology transfer has been conducted largely in the perspective of public policy. In the contemporary public management view, researchers, managers, employees, and all stakeholders must be considered active agents, conscious of their role in social and technological development. This awareness will enable understanding of the relevance of each one's activities and tasks in the process of adding value for society and of improvement and adaptation to society's new needs. Therefore, it is also necessary to discuss how to structure effective action on the subject of technology transfer, focusing on internal management of public organizations and acting on its organizational structure, processes, and public institutions management. Effective technological development will not occur unless research institutions and its administrative and academic units have been structured for effective technology transfer. Hence, this work discusses the university's technological transfer process regarding the following theme. How can the university's technology transfer process be managed? Regarding this theme, the following premise is used. Modern managerial systems use performance measurement system. So, in this work, we discuss the following research question. Which characteristics must the performance management system have developed to help universities manage its technology transfer process? This paper follows a qualitative approach based on literature review. The theoretical backgrounds used for the analysis are the innovation system and performance management systems. Considering these theoretical bases, the context of a Brazilian public university is analyzed to obtain considerations regarding requisites of the institutional performance management system for its technological development and innovation system, which comprises the technology transfer process. For contextualization purposes, a specific Brazilian public university was analyzed. Specifically, some mainly formal but also several informal discussions with Science Park and Technology Transfer Office coordinators, officers, entrepreneurs, and researchers were conducted in an action, research, fashion, although a systems process improvement and implementation were not yet conducted because the initial development phase of the project. The interviews and discussions were conducted in native language, in Portuguese, and citations are a free translation of the authors. The interviewee identification is omitted to maintain anonymity. Language styles were changed to difficult identification. Data regarding researchers is not representative of all the university population because the interviewees are from just one academic unit and in one knowledge domain.
The case. The study was applied to a traditional Brazilian public and federal university with relevant research history. The data regarding researchers is not representative of the all university population because the interviewers are from just one academic unit and one knowledge domain. This presentation is just about a preliminary results. Let's start with the university's context description, the Brazilian innovation system. In the 70s, we observed public policies for researchers' development. There were several investments for postgraduate training abroad and creation of postgraduate and scientific research programs in universities. In the 80s, there were a lot of discussion about professionalism of university management. From then, universities and performance evaluation discussions evolved. Nowadays, we observe a more mature system. Institutional development plan comprises a more consistent strategic planning tool. This context resulted in a more proactive management, more aligned with the modern public management. This scenario was promoted by several factors, but we mentioned the Baydor-like Act in 2003 that formalized the TTO creation in universities and the role of universities in regional and national technological development. Regarding performance measurement or evaluation, nevertheless, the existing evaluation systems are related to undergraduate or postgraduate education. The technology generation is just a complementary data, and technology commercialization is not specifically evaluated. In fact, existing evaluation systems evaluate courses, not universities, although lay people call them university ranking. The diagnoses regarding TTO activities were conducted using interview with researchers, universities, TTO officers, and academic spin-off entrepreneurs. And the diagnosis considers these 5 topics. We cannot present the details of the analysis, but we can highlight some topics. Regarding structure and culture, using several testimonials from researchers, we can observe an indication of absence of adequate structures, process, and institutional culture to promote university-industry interaction. About promotion of learning, we observed several evidences that indicate that learning and experimentation occurs only at the individual level. The process is not monitored, and hence these evidences indicate that organizational learning is not structured. Promotion of spin-off generation and development. The business planning capacitation or the initial stages development support is a systematic process but support for other phases is not so systematic. Speaking yet about the promotion of spin-off development, the support or promotion of networking for entrepreneurship is also not so systematic. The promotion of multi and interdisciplinary networking between research groups and coordinators is not systematic. Some TTO-specific initiatives are observed when demand arrives from the industry, but the effective mechanism of the university to promote multi or interdisciplinary interaction occurs in formal manner by the new post-graduation programs creation. These observations indicate that Brazilian innovation system and university TTOs are yet in improvement process. So, learning and innovation must be the objectives of any university's managerial system. Considering the innovation system and mainly the researchers' autonomy culture, managerial systems must motivate people. And because the fragmented view and loss of process and systemic view, efforts to rescue the systemic view must be conducted. These observations agree with the new PMS view. For 2000s, performance management systems are considered a cognitive process, and they comprise more than control process, learning, decision-making, and motivation processes. Let's analyze the cases, performance measures, and the context to make some propositions. The analysis was conducted using the following 5 classification or description criteria. Regarding PMS objectives, the measures were deployed as part of the institutional development plan in a top-down fashion and is reviewed each year. Nowadays, the university management and performance evaluation discussions lead to a more mature system, and they present more consistent strategic planning tools called institutional development plan. In this plan, the academic units participate in deploying the institutional goals and establish its own goals and having performance measures. Although still much to improve, this comprises a more proactive management, a view aligning with the modern public management. Hence, we can deduce that PMS objective is alignment and communication. Measurement objectives. The goal alignment and communication characterize soft objectives. Patent and publication amount comprise hard objectives because they are considered research results, and they comprise one of the criteria for career progression. A quote is needed. It's for career progression, not a momentary reward. The opportunity to earn royalties originated by technology licensing can be analyzed as a kind of reward that would comprise a hard objective for technology transfer process, but licensing is not so common and not guaranteed for our registered IP. Regarding performance dimensions, the measures were developed considering quality dimension. About control type. Registered IP amount measurement objectives are feedback control aiming to explore the real performance measures and objectives comparison. But bibliometric and IP registering data can be a feedback control just because it's considered the research process. The IP and bibliometric data are outputs for the research process. Considering the context of the technology transfer and commercialization process, they are just an intermediate for regional and national technological development. They are not the process's output. The amount of generated patents, spin-offs, and technology transfer projects are metrics commonly used to evaluate the effectiveness of technology transfer in research institutions. These macro and aggregated indicators, also enabling comparison between institutions, do not reveal how researchers interact with industry and its impact on the research outputs. The amount of patents generated cannot be considered a qualified indicator of academic contribution to technological development, because there are other important mechanisms of knowledge transfer from science to business, such as consulting and other forms of collaborative research between academics and firms, considered even more relevant than patent generation or licensing. After all this description, the question is, what must be done? We present now some propositions of PMS characteristics for university technology transfer. First, we observe that there are no viable output museums. So we suggest that the system should use control object based on process and feed-forward control. Regarding performance dimensions, as described scenario indicate that this is yet in a transient state and the universe has a lot to learn and innovate, the innovativeness and learning dimension is very important and must be included. Regarding measurement objectives, we have observed that PMS should act motivating people because researchers' autonomy culture. So we also suggest that motivational objective can be a good objective. We have observed the loss of a systemic view. So, more than alignment and communication, the PMS also must objective the systemic view rescue. Finally, some considerations. Without any doubt, PMS comprises an important element of institutional dimension in institutional innovation systems. The case analysis and literature review demonstrate that university PMS is not focused on the technological development process, just on educational process. The analyzed university, probably as other universities in the same country, has not mature technological development process, and hence related PMS is very incipient but very important to process improvement. The organizational learning process must be stimulated and hence evaluated by this system in order to promote the cultural evolution and process maturation. It was also observed that the adequate PMS must enable TTO to risk with the systemic view of the technological development process, evaluating not just the TTO department but the system. The feedback control, also through either providing real process measures, is not realistic because long-term results of technological development process. In this context, a feed-forward control emerges as an adequate PMS to assure conditions to obtain a good performance. The inputs and conditions required for a good technological development performance present complexities that do not have a hard objective for control, but quality and innovativity, innovation and learning dimensions of performance have shown be important in this context. Although the quality concept must be improved. Not just the complexity and uncertainty of the innovation system, as well as that of its subsystem, the institutional innovation system, and its scattered and intangible nature, also justifies the motivational objective of PMS. The diagnosed national public policy and the configuration of the innovation system also indicates that the PMS, which a motivational objective, appears to be more adjusted to analyzed context, because the existent culture and facilitators role of university managers. The analysis conducted in this paper is based on a single university and its specificity, although this study can be, in some extent, acceptable as representative sample analysis of Brazilian public university with similar evolution and context. It is not acceptable for further generalization. Hence, further research is suggested to conduct it with a larger and wider range sample, comprising universities from other regions of Brazil and from other countries with similar public policy. History. As mentioned previously, this is a partial result of a work in progress, and we would like to thank you any comment or contribution to improve this work. Thank you very much.